the new year, going over our 2024 product recap and Q1 2025 product roadmap. Before we dive into anything, I think I want to toss it over to Andy, who's hanging out at Nutshell HQ.
Yeah. Afternoon, Will. And thanks for joining, everybody. I told Will I wanted to take some inspiration from I don't know, our favorite hero, Al Roker, and kind of be the man on the street and give everyone a quick tour of Nutshell's new digs here. So we've been growing quite a lot this past year, and just a few weeks ago moved into a new spot here in downtown Ann Arbor. So much of Nutshell's product team is based here in Ann Arbor, and that's where I am. And here's the crew hard at work. Told everyone to look excited. You can see they are doing exactly as asked. There we go. Blake's gonna wait for us. So yeah, this is the Nutshell Ann Arbor headquarters. I'm gonna get back and settled into our spot and turn it back over to Will.
Sounds good. While Andy's getting settled there, I'm going to go ahead and pull up our slides that we'll be going through during the presentation and webinar today. You will receive a recording of this webinar upon its conclusion, as well as a copy of the slide deck that we're using today for the presentation in your email later on. Might come later this evening or tomorrow as soon as the video renders. Today, it's just going to be Andy and myself. Chris had a last minute day of PTO, or our VP of product development. So just Andy and I joining today. And just a quick, what are we going to be going through today? We're probably going to be a little bit over 30 minutes, I believe. So if you do have to hop off, if you want to start your weekend early, if you're with us on the East Coast, feel free to. Like I said, the recording will come out to you. But we're going to go over everything that we released to our customers in 2024, and then everything we have currently slated to be released in Q1 of 2025 that will be available to our customers, and then how to get started with all the information that we're giving to you today. Feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation. We will be able to see them in the chat. With the time that we have at the end of this webinar, we will try to answer as many questions as we can. So without further ado, Andy, I'm going to turn it over to you. Oh, Andy, I think you're not quite connected to audio. Al Roker was better with the microphone, I think I just have to say.
How's this? Is this any better?
There we go. There we go. What's some live content without some technical difficulties? That's better, Andy. Good. Take it away.
One more. Is this one any good or no?
A little quieter.
Okay. How's this? Okay. I'll speak loudly. Well, thanks everyone for obliging our little tour around the office.
Oh, you muted yourself again here, Andy.
All right. Sorry about that. How's this?
There we go.
All right. You think I'd learned something about video conferences? Anyway, yeah, excited to be here together. Sorry for the technical difficulties. It's been a big year for Nutshell. We've accomplished a lot. We've had a great time, and we want to talk about some of how our team has grown, how our product has grown, and more importantly, what we're building in 2025 to help our customers grow. It's been a big year for us, and Will and I are excited to share here. So, as I mentioned, our product crew is here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Will is just down the road in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and a number of team members out there as well, and then some folks flung across the globe. So Nutshell's a global team here. We've been growing since 2010, and every day we're serving thousands of small businesses, helping them grow, helping their sales teams automate their sales process, find more prospects, and we're excited to be able to do that each day. And we're grateful for the opportunity. All right. I already kind of shared a little bit around the office here, but as I mentioned, this has been a big year for us. This is a little bit of a glimpse behind the scenes on the crew that makes Nutshell possible. Got together in Harrisburg earlier this summer, celebrated some of the progress so far, and made some more big plans here. And as I mentioned, we're in an exciting new space here. You know, our crew, it's still a small, tight-knit team, and we find we kind of make a lot of progress when we're under one roof and can sort of work together that way. So without further ado, let's jump into a recap of what we've accomplished in 2024, how Nutshell's grown and better supported our customers. Wall of text here, an eye exam. This is just some of the highlights for what's new in Nutshell, and we're going to double click into a whole bunch of these. But I guess maybe the starting point to how we're able to get to so much new production this year. When we started 2024, our product team was about 7 or 8 team members. We could kind of maybe do 1.5 things at a time. And today we've grown to, I think we're at 17. We've been adding new team members pretty quickly, and we've got more getting started each week. And so today Nutshell has 3 parallel product teams. And so what that allows us to do is kind of walk and chew gum and pat our head. We kind of have 3 parallel things going on at once to make sales product, marketing, and the engagement product better. And here's some of what we've done. All right, so we kind of started the year with making our Chrome extension better. So hopefully everyone here knows about our Chrome extension. You can add this, and it improves Gmail. And so when you're logged into Google and using Gmail to manage your inbox, Nutshell Chrome sort of sits there. It's like a sidecar. It tells you about who sent the message. If they're in your CRM, they will show that to you and show you the timeline. If not, you can add them to the CRM without leaving your inbox. And we kind of have this view that your CRM should work where you work, and a lot of us work from our inbox, and the Chrome extension does that even better. And with this release, it not only helps you see about people who are emailing you, but it gives you your email template capability. So you can send a message, track its opens, track its clicks, even if you sent it from the Gmail interface here. And that's something we're continuing to work on. Something that we also spent a lot of time on this past year is making custom fields better based on which pipeline a lead is in. So back when Nutshell launched, we could only support a single pipeline. We kind of saw one sales process that your company has. As we grew, we realized that our customers have multiple sales processes, multiple pipelines, and Nutshell has since supported that. But what you can do today is actually tune up those pipelines and tune up the custom fields that are associated with those pipelines. You might have a new sales pipeline that collects entirely different information from your renewal pipeline, maybe a rental pipeline that's different from a sales pipeline. You can define what fields you collect and show on a lead page per pipeline. And when you're using the board view, you can change which fields show up in sort of the drag and drop board view. So when you've got multiple things going on, Nutshell's better suited for each one of those pipelines. We've also added some stronger email sync controls. So Nutshell's email sync, of course, works for both Google and Office 365. It happens in the background. You don't need to do anything. As you send emails or messages land in your inbox, those are automatically synced to Nutshell. And it's a big time saver. It means you don't have to manually push messages into the CRM to tell it what's happening. But with that comes some responsibility to make sure you don't bring an embarrassing message into the CRM that shouldn't be there. So we introduced a number of new controls where you could establish internal domains. So I could say, if I'm ever emailing anybody at webfx.com, treat that as a colleague, not as a customer. And likewise, there are better controls on a timeline. So if I do mistakenly add a message to Nutshell, not only can I remove it easily, but I can remove maybe every message I sent to that person. So if I were to say email our HR department, I could just pull all of those messages out at once. We also allow a company-wide block list. So this way, if as a CRM administrator, you want to add maybe the payroll software's email address, that company-wide block list is automatically added to every CRM user. So just more controls for how messages are synced into Nutshell, keeping you in the driver's seat there. Note taker was an exciting thing. Our team had fun building this, actually adding some audio input to the CRM so you can talk to Nutshell, take a note as you speak. I think all of us have used tools like these now to be able to plug it into a place where you're spending all day typing and logging notes. Nutshell note taker is really popular. I think we've got over 8,000 notes added through note taker last I checked, hundreds of customers using this. And it's been something fun. And we're going to talk a lot about how we're investing in sort of AI capabilities, both sort of audio-based features like this and ones that work from other data inside of Nutshell. Moving ahead, we added to our IQ suite. So the Nutshell IQ suite covers a number of capabilities where effectively we are not just a database, a place where you store data, but Nutshell is a place that provides you with data. And with People IQ, you may know about a company already. Say in this screenshot here, you know about the business Skycam Productions. Maybe you knew the CFO there. You have one person in your CRM. But what People IQ allows you to do is pull in additional contacts who work at that company. So if you're trying to find their head of sales or their head of marketing, we're bringing this database of people information into the CRM so that you don't have to go and do the scouting on LinkedIn or wherever else. And so a lot of different tools to choose how you find personas inside of People IQ. And this is a part of our overall IQ Suite add-on. All right. Sort of more in the guts of providing just good CRM organizational tools. One of our very most wanted features was company hierarchy, or sometimes called parent-child relationships. So if you are managing connections to companies that maybe have a franchisor and franchisees, or maybe there's a parent company and child companies, Nutshell allows you to organize those together so you can link one parent company to multiple children company. Not only do you just get this ability to link those companies, you can roll up revenue data. So maybe I want to see how much we've sold to the entire parent company here, or just to each individual franchise. Nutshell's company hierarchy tools make that available to you. Going to move ahead and talk a little bit about Scheduler. So Scheduler is a tool that we launched at the end of 2023, and we've improved a lot in 2024, and maybe most notably made it accessible to far more customers in our repackaging that happened at the end of the year. But the very most wanted capability that wasn't there when we launched with Scheduler was round robin assignment. And what this does is that if you have, say, two sales team members, maybe one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast, you can put them onto the same team. You can create a scheduler link that shows both of their availability. And now you have a scheduler link that has much more availability than, it basically has the full calendar availability of both of those team members. And then as bookings are made, Nutshell is sort of sharing those assignments so that they're evenly distributed amongst the team. So it's a way of making sure that you have more availability so you can book more meetings, and that you're still fairly distributing those bookings across your team. And I should mention that round robin assignment is available in our business plan and above. And I think Will might cover this later, but to get ahead of this, when we started the year, Nutshell was only Scheduler was only available as an add-on. Now, if you are using Pro and above, you can check out Scheduler, and in fact, we're going to be making it so anyone can sort of get a trial of this capability. We've tripled the number of customers who are using Scheduler in 2024. We're seeing a lot of interest here, and we want to keep advancing this product. More on Scheduler, you can also allow for multiple attendees. So maybe you post a link and someone is booking with one of your team members, but they also want to bring along a colleague. Now, when someone books with you in Scheduler, they can add additional email addresses so that you have multiple attendees to a Scheduler meeting. And then sort of some improvements under the hood and at the data level here for Nutshell. Nutshell is tightly integrated with Zapier. Zapier is a great product. It's kind of the duct tape and chewing gum of the web and of the SaaS world. So if you are trying to connect Nutshell to another product where we don't have a built-in integration, Zapier is a useful way where you can do that. And now our Zapier integration allows you to log an activity in Nutshell. So maybe you are using a some sort of VoIP product that is making phone calls, and you want those to be added to Nutshell. Zapier can do that work now and push an activity into Nutshell. Likewise, on sort of the infrastructure front, API access is something that's really important to us. We launched with an open API back in 2010. We believe that the data that you put in Nutshell belongs to you, and it shouldn't be locked up and sort of kept here. And so we make APIs available for technical teams looking to access the data in Nutshell. And we've expanded from the JSON RPC API that we had at the start of the year to introduce a new REST API. And with it, a new set of documentation. So this is something that's up your alley. You probably already know it, but check out developers.nutshell.com. Effectively, every piece of information is available in the API through Nutshell. And if there's something missing from that, let us know. think that might be, oh, I've got one more here. No, I think I'm going to hand this one over to you, Will. Will and I are going to take turns talking through some of the sales and marketing capabilities. I don't even think we did introductions, Will, or maybe you did that while I was talking.
You know what? I always leave something out of the beginning, but I am Will Gordon, Director of Marketing for Nutshell, and Andy, of course, is our CEO of Nutshell. But Prospector IQ was another addition to our IQ suite, which we call Nutshell IQ. First launching was Visitor IQ. Andy recently just talked about People IQ earlier in this webcast. And the third addition to this was Prospector IQ. And it's really a three-pronged approach, thinking about how to get contacts into your CRM, where People IQ, you're already working with that book of business. Maybe you need to find the CFO, you need to find the CEO, or there was some turnover and you need to find your new point of contact. Visitor IQ is kind of for those warm leads for the companies that are already visiting your website. You can say, hey, this person didn't fill out a contact form. Let me see if I can get that contact information so I can be the one to make that first outreach. And Prospector IQ is more for that cold outbound approach where you can go out on the web, put in your filters for as far as what are you looking for as far as your ideal customer profile, filter all that information out. Nutshell provides you with the list where you can then unlock the person's information as well, name, phone number, email address, the company that they work for. You can add that contact record directly to your CRM and also make a lead directly from Prospector IQ as well. So making Nutshell more than just a way to close leads, but also to drive leads through your business through that cold outbound research. And then I'm going to shift it right back to you for click to call, Andy.
All right. Well, yeah, this is exciting. Like I mentioned with Note Taker, we've the team's been having a blast, sort of learning what we can do with the data in Nutshell and some of the AI capabilities that are out there. This was actually launched relatively late in the year, and it's been growing like crazy. If you're using Click to Call in Nutshell, where you have a phone number in Nutshell, you click it, you actually make that call through your AirPods or your Bluetooth headset and dial that through Nutshell. You now have the ability to automatically transcribe that call and to summarize that transcription. So what that really means is you make a call in Nutshell, you talk to your prospect, you talk to your customer, you hang up, and 5 seconds later, you've got an AI summary of exactly what happened. I think as we prepared these slides here, this was an actual conversation that one of our team members had. You know, it talks about what some of the action items were in the call, the overall tone of the call, what was discussed, and anything that you need to follow up on. So Click to Call now comes with AI summaries. We include a couple of summaries in our Pro plan to be able to try this out and see if it's for you. And we include more of those in the business plan and above. And there's going to be more to follow on this, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Custom fields are an important part of the CRM. We track things inside of Nutshell like email address and phone number that everyone does, but every customer has fields that are unique to their business. Maybe you collect someone's budget, or maybe you collect the square footage of a site. And often what we see is someone uses the CRM over time, you get some bloat in those custom fields and some confusion amongst your team on what is this field really meant to capture. So in addition to just collecting custom fields, you can now describe to your team exactly what that field is meant to include and how to use it. It's a way to sort of help the CRM onboard your team without a lot of sort of outside documentation. And Will, back to you. I think Will's going to talk more of our marketing capabilities here.
Yes, we have a couple slides more strictly related to our marketing capabilities inside Nutshell. As most of you know, Nutshell started, I want to say, just as a CRM, but now Nutshell is so much more than a CRM, and we committed a lot of work to our marketing products this year. The first one that we're able to launch early in 2024 was landing pages. So if you're working on websites, you rely on developers, you don't know how to code, raise your hand if you're like me. You can easily design with drag and drop. If you're used to Nutshell Campaigns, our email marketing feature, it uses the exact same builder. So it's super easy to build these landing pages right inside Nutshell. You can also easily add Nutshell forms, or if you're using Scheduler, you can add them directly to the landing page as well. So you can gather leads from the landing pages you're building. And then you also have the ability to host those landing pages from your own custom domain as you go through that. Another item that was frequently requested before I joined Nutshell, and I also was like, hey, can we get this, Andy, was A/B testing in Nutshell Campaigns inside our marketing suite. So if you ever wanted to test a headline or test a preview line or test your body copy to see what would go better in a broadcast email we now have this capability inside Nutshell. So if you're someone that uses campaigns on a monthly basis to send out broadcasts to your customers, you can consistently test, hey, what subject lines tend to resonate best with our audience, get better open rates, get better click-through rates. You can use this A/B testing feature now with Nutshell campaigns. This is another big one. As the director of our marketing team here at Nutshell, and I'm pulling reports at the end of every single month, and I have to filter out all the spam. Nutshell Forms now has some spam prevention built right into it as well. So you can keep bots out by adding captchas to your Nutshell Forms. Again, this is an option. You are not required to use it, but you can always have it there. You can choose whether the captcha is always displayed or only displayed when it's suspected from scammers as well, or a never displays. Like I said, it's an option that you can choose from in there. This is another frequently requested one with separate address fields in Nutshell Forms. We did have a GIF as we were first putting this email together, but before you would only really have one field for that address. So the street, whether it's a street, an avenue, or a boulevard, the zip code would all go into one field. Now you can add those individually as separate fields inside of Nutshell to make filtering so much more easier as you're trying to find down or filter down in your specific safe list to find those specific customers that you want to create into one list. And then marketing email templates as well. So there was a way that you could clunkily do this in Nutshell campaigns before, where you could open up a previous broadcast or open up a previous newsletter and kind of create from or like duplicate from this. Now you can have those marketing email templates already pre-made for your team. So if you're someone with franchise locations where you kind of want to have the same branding but separate them out, you can now start from an email template rather than having to duplicate from your current broadcast or your current newsletters. This has helped out our team immensely too. Hopefully you guys all get the shipping news or the nuts and bolts every single month. This allows us to start from that default template rather than having to recreate that every single month. And then I think this is my last slide before I toss it back to Andy again, but with all of that commitment to building out a lot of our marketing features that are now available for customers, we wanted to create one centralized location that you could kind of see all of that top level information at once. So we created the marketing dashboard inside of Nutshell. So you could track your performance and how your landing pages are performing, how many times your forms are getting filled out, how many sends and clicks you're getting through your broadcasts and newsletters, the website traffic that we're tracking through Nutshell Analytics, connected forms, visitor IQ contacts are also in there as well. And you can see how many audiences and the last time they were contacted as well. So similar to the sales dashboard that we've had probably since day one of Nutshell, our marketing dashboard is here now. So you can kind of have all that information rolled up into just one condensed screen inside of Nutshell. And then I will toss it back to Andy for probably one of our more exciting releases of 2024.
Yeah, exactly. So, we kind of divided this roadmap section up here into three: Nutshell Sales, Nutshell Marketing, and Nutshell Engagement. And for those of you who follow closely, you've kind of seen that we've really begun to organize the product under these three suites here. And what engagement really is the ways that you directly connect sort of one-on-one to your customers, your website visitors, your prospects. And that's starting with SMS or text messages. And so we launched Nutshell SMS earlier this year so that you can connect with a lead. If you have their cell phone number inside of Nutshell, you can send them a text and you can have the entire conversation through Nutshell. And the key benefit here is that instead of texting from your own phone or each rep trying to text their own prospects, is those text message threads are stored inside of Nutshell, so you can still organize those conversations just like you would, say, with email sync. So Nutshell SMS is today available in US and Canada. There is a enrollment process that you'll go through where there's some tighter rules from the cell phone carriers, making sure that you're not a spammer. And once you get set up with that, it's a really useful way where you can have these conversations with your prospects one-on-one. And we'll get to a little bit more of our expansion of SMS in a minute here. Also inside of our engagement suite, and just launching, I don't know, maybe a month ago now, is Nutshell Chat. And chat's really exciting. I think we've all now experienced having a chat on a website, but this is now something that we've built and incorporated into the CRM. And what we're seeing is chat is a really useful way to essentially collect leads on your website that might not otherwise fill out a contact form. So, of course, you can use a nutshell form and collect someone's name and email address and try to collect the lead that way. But there's a lot of people who come to your website and they don't want to fill out the form, but they want to ask a question. And that still starts the sales conversation. It's still a useful way to start a relationship with a prospect and hopefully build a sale. And Nutshell Chat allows you to do that. So you take a snippet of JavaScript that we provide to you, place it on your website, and then have those chat conversations with your website visitors through Nutshell. We're in the early days of this. We're loving the feedback that we're hearing so far. You can take these chat conversations, assign them amongst your, whichever Nutshell users are available for those chats. And this is something that we're pretty excited to keep improving in the year ahead here. And that's what we're going to talk about next, where Nutshell is going. So this has been a big year for us, and a lot of what you're going to see in just a minute here is the continuation. So as Will mentioned, we started as just a CRM, and over the past couple of years have layered on more and more marketing capabilities. We're now connected to your website and these chat and SMS conversations that we're having through forms and scheduler. You can engage with your customers in other ways, and we're looking to continue to fill in those gaps so that any point that you are engaging with your customers or your leads can be driven by Nutshell. Now we're going to start on the sales side of things. So I already described this, but we're effectively now 3 suites inside of Nutshell: sales, engagement, and marketing. I did want to pause here before I dive into what's coming in the next year and talk about something that's coming today. So taking a note from Oprah here, everyone here, look under your chair. I don't have a car to give away or anything, but as part of our sort of update into these suites, we've been working on an updated Nutshell organization and navigation. So we've improved the look and feel of how you get around Nutshell, as well as how you search for contacts, how you add contacts. The sort of entire frame of how Nutshell is organized is it's going to be updated in the coming weeks here. And as of today, you can opt into this. So give you a little preview of how you find this. So on the left side, you click your little name at the bottom left. You'll see a little road sign here that announces our new navigation. If you're on this call, you can opt into that now. And at this point, you'll be able to opt back out of it. So we're still shaking out some of the bugs, getting feedback on how we can do this better. So if you see it and something's not working, you can go up to the top right and opt back out. We would love to hear what you think about this. I tend to think that the folks that are on this webcast, I recognize a lot of the names here, are some of the Nutshell power users, and we'd love to hear from you on how this new navigation works. I included a little sneak preview of it here. It's got more room. There were some parts of Nutshell that started to feel like we were really shoehorning things in, and it wasn't really organized in the way that we envisioned it in our minds. And so Hannah, our product designer, and our entire product team got together and came up with something we think is pretty nice here. This is opt-in for each person at a time. So if you opt into this personally, the rest of your team isn't going to see that. And in fact, this is only available to admins at this point in time. We'll be rolling this out for others soon. Okay, more about what's coming farther down the road here. Biggest thing maybe to announce today is Nutshell Quotes. So again, we launched as just a CRM, and we've been building a lot of additional point capabilities on here. When we think about the one more thing that our customers ask us for most frequently, it's quotes. So you're using Nutshell, you're developing a relationship with a prospect, but to actually produce a quote often requires a tool like QuickBooks or PandaDoc, both of which are products that we have good integrations with, or maybe you do this in Google Docs or Word or anything else. But ultimately, everything about a lead that you need to produce the quote is inside of Nutshell: the contact information, the products, the discounting, and then the approval of that quote and how that fits into your sales process really belongs inside of Nutshell. So we are building an integrated quotes solution that will allow you to create a quote, to send it to your prospects, and for them to accept that, all integrated into Nutshell. It will fit into your sales process so that the sales process can move along as you send that quote, as it's viewed or opened, and as it's accepted. And we're excited to take the covers off of this, truthfully, in the coming weeks here. Big new capability in our sales product. Someone already asked the question and gave me the softball down the middle here, but yes, click to call has great transcribing and summarization capabilities. We learned a lot on how to do that, and we're adding that to Zoom first, and then hopefully to Google Meets and Teams very quickly after that. Today, we actually already have a Zoom integration, and some of our customers are using that. But truthfully, the integration that we have today relies on Zoom to provide the transcriptions for us. And if you're not paying for a sort of high-level Zoom account, that capability is unavailable to you. And what we're doing with this integration now is, as long as you have a Zoom account that records a meeting, when you complete your Zoom meeting and hang it up, it's going to take that recording, it's going to transcribe it, and it's going to summarize it. So you will be able to log the demo, the pitch, the group training, whatever kind of Zoom conversation you had in the CRM without needing to write up your notes. And it is going to be cool. Scheduler, we talked about this earlier. We're going to continue to invest in Scheduler and make it better. I saw Monica on the call here, and she's been helpful with us seeing how some of our customers use tools like Calendly and Google's own built-in scheduling tools. And so we're adding more to Scheduler here. So if you have multiple calendars that you need to sort of schedule your availability around, we're going to support that. We're going to support shared events. So maybe as a company, you always give a 30-minute demo and maybe an hour-long pitch. And you want to make sure that everyone has a common set of meetings that have a common set of descriptions, and that there's sort of a little bit more control around the scheduler events that your team is having. You'll be able to sort of push those shared events for your team members using Scheduler. And we're going to have sort of customizable URLs and landing pages so that you can share just a simple scheduler link, even using your own domain, which you may have already added into Nutshell. We're also investing in security and better login experience with Nutshell. So today you can sign in using Google or Office 365, but we still have password support. And some of our larger customers and some of our smaller customers are seeking, the idea of removing passwords altogether. So you only sign in with your sort of third-party authentication service. We're going to add that kind of support, as well as multi-factor authentication. Many of the things that have really become table stakes in today's sort of security world. And then finally, this is something I can't promise because we're going to work hard and then meet with auditors, but we're aiming for SOC 2 compliance in 2025. So SOC 2 is a set of standards for how a company operates, its processes, its encryption practices, and it's a big rubber stamp that sort of shows that Nutshell is operating to the highest possible standard, and we're aiming to meet that by the end of the year here. Something that's coming in very shortly here is just making it easier when you add a lead. So right now, if you add a lead and want to immediately connect a person and an email address, you have to make a few extra clicks. And when we started the company, the idea of removing friction from adding data is paramount. And so we've made it even easier to create a lead, to add a person, to add an email address, all from a single create lead form. What we actually discovered is that some of our customers were using Nutshell forms as their create lead form because the Nutshell form was better than the built-in lead creation UI. And so we've taken a page from that to make that even better. We're making it easier to respond to your customers, again, using some of the AI large language model magic that's out there. So if you've got a customer or a prospect who sent you a message, we want to give you something that you can quickly and easily start from. So right inside of Nutshell, you hit reply, tee up a little bit of a starting point to save you some time on a reply. And then someone asked this and set me up in the chat, but the Chrome extension, which powers the sort of Gmail expansion that we provide, we do have one of those for Outlook, but it's about a step behind where we are with Gmail, and we're going to be leveling up our Outlook extension, bringing some of the same email sending capabilities into Outlook that we already have for Gmail. So again, Nutshell works where you work. And now, Will, I'm going to send it over to you to talk marketing.
Yeah, and I guess the secret to getting softball questions in the chat is just to offer everybody a car. So thanks for the new ride, Andy. Really appreciate that. Some of the people on this webinar might actually have experienced the very first SMS campaign from Nutshell just yesterday. If anybody got that message, if you wouldn't mind putting yourself into the chat. This is going along with our engagement side of the one-to-one SMS, where people are able to, sales reps are able to contact leads or current customers. This is going to be on the marketing side of things. So this is going to be the one-to-many. So you can leverage text message broadcasts and or drip sequences to turn customers into contacts. So if you use campaigns drip sequences along with like a welcome series, you can add SMS drip sequences into that as well. Or if you're, maybe in the beginning of the year doing a webinar about the previous year's product releases and this upcoming year's product releases, you can send out a text message in a broadcast format to some of your customers to be able to let them know that as well. And of course, you'll be able to use it in the pipeline automation, just like I said here. This is a really cool feature. Like I said, we just got to use it for the first time yesterday, and it seemed to work pretty okay. So I can give it 2 thumbs up as we move forward in 2025 with SMS marketing. Also in marketing, we have smart audiences coming. And like, as a marketer, I like to think about audiences a lot because it all depends on how we build our business. But sometimes an audience is, people that live in PA or customers that bought from us last year or people who subscribe to our newsletter. Those are all kinds of audience, or all those kinds of audiences are dynamic audiences. They continue to grow, they continue to change. And as I add a new person into that person in PA audience into Nutshell, they belong in that audience right away. They get added to that audience. As it stands today in the Nutshell sales side of things, we have what we're called saved lists. And if I would even bet that half the people on this call don't even know what the saved lists are. It's not very, I would say, marketed, but it's very popular as far as Nutshell's use case of it as well. But saved lists help you create those dynamic lists. And then in marketing, we have what we call audiences, which are kind of a fixed set of contacts. Like, yes, you can edit them manually, but once you create the audience, you have the audience. So we're trying to clean up that concept across the whole entire app. So whether you're using sales to find leads assigned to me, or you're in marketing and you're trying to find all of your contacts in Pennsylvania, it's all going to be using the same common definition of this audience. So some audiences you'll use are defined by the filters that you have, and some are those manually created, like the newsletter subscriptions. But either way, moving forward, this is going to be a much clearer process to make sure that you can keep your audiences up to date and you'll know what you'll be using them for. And I guess this last one that I have here too, I did not offer cars in the chat, but this was also a softball question served up to me. This is going to be the link engagement reporting. And I get asked all the time in some of my automated emails that go out, what's the best metrics to be looking at and reporting on when it comes to email marketing? And the best answer I can really give to everybody on this call is it depends. And it truly does depend on a lot of factors. But currently inside Nutshell, we give you open rate and click-through rate reporting. And these metrics are important to know, I would say, from a benchmark experience, just to make sure that your messages are getting into people's inboxes. But there are some bots that go through and open up emails on the client end. So it's not always the most accurate, but you can always say like, hey, this is my benchmark here. However, more important than how many emails are opened or how many emails are clicked, it's who's actually clicking on that email. So if you were putting yourself in this situation, like, what's more important, knowing that 1,000 people got your message, or knowing that the CEO at your largest company, your largest customer, clicked on the link to learn more about your new product or your new service offering? So link engagement reporting will do just that inside of Nutshell. It'll tell you who's clicking on what links that you're sending from your marketing messages. And I'm going to toss it back to you, Andy.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. Well, I'm glad we're getting some, you got some applause to the link engagement report. That's going to be a fun one for us to build too. So to continue down the road of engagement, right? So we've added SMS support. That's how we started the engagement suite. And then we followed that with chat, web chat conversations. We want to be, able to connect to you in any way that you're interacting with your customers. And so we're just going to keep knocking down those different channels that you engage with your prospects on until we can say that any channel that your customers are connecting with you, you can connect with Nutshell. So next on that list is Meta and Facebook Messenger support. So if you maybe advertise on Instagram, or you have a page on Facebook that gets incoming inquiries, what you'll be able to do is to route those incoming requests into Nutshell. And instead of logging into Facebook or logging into Instagram and replying with that kind of information, It'll show up in Nutshell. And maybe most importantly, you can obviously answer the person's question. You can create them as a lead, right? When someone has a question on something that you sell, that's the starting point of a sale, and that's a lead in Nutshell. And so we're starting with Meta and Facebook. We're exploring things like WhatsApp and all of the other channels. So your feedback on other channels that you use to engage with your customers will help drive our engagement roadmap here. And then on engagement as well, we have sort of online, offline presence availability where you can accept chats or not accept chats. And our new UI, our new navigation, makes it even easier to set that availability. We're going to allow you to do that on a regular schedule to make sure that you remember to sign in and make yourself available for chats at a particular point in time in the day. And that's what we've got to cover today on the roadmap. I'm going to send it back to Will for sort of the wrap up on this slide here.
Yeah, of course. So we do try to run monthly webinars about all of the individual products we release. Andy shared the eye test or the eye exam. I think he shared very early on of everything we did release in 2024. When it's big enough, we say, hey, let's get a webcast about this so we can help to educate our customers. As always, as long as you sign up for those webinars, you will get a recording and you will get the PDF that we prepare to share on those webinars to your email address. You don't need to attend. We would love for you to attend, ask questions, share feedback, of course. Otherwise, you can always subscribe to our shipping newsletter. That will be a clickable link when you get this PDF, so make sure you're signed up for that. And then monthly, our support team leads our best practices webinar in Nutshell. It's a rotating list of topics that they'll go through to make sure that it's not features that you have to pay for beyond what you're already using, but to make sure that you're getting the most out of what you're already paying for inside of Nutshell. And of course, at any point in time, you need our support teams. They're available via live chat during our open office hours as well. So we do want to open up for some Q&A. I know I was able to answer some questions in the chat as Andy was talking, but I didn't get to everything. I know there was one early question, if I could steal the mic still, Andy, before I send it back to you, from, I believe, Jaden, who is asking about people IQ, prospector IQ. Is there a way to find people at a specific location from a specific company? For example, there are tons of PepsiCo locations around the United States, but we may need a contact from a specific location. Yes, there is a location filter that you can use for all of prospector IQ, visitor IQ, and people IQ as well. So you can use, there's job title, job level. You can even search by company or location. All of those things work in all three levels of Nutshell IQ.
While Will goes here and pulls us some more questions, I'll just end with a bit of a thank you. We have a blast putting this together and seeing what we've accomplished and daydreaming about what we're going to accomplish next. But that's all through and thanks to our customer base here. So every day we're helping thousands of customers grow, and our business grows as our customers grow, and we're grateful for the customers who choose to use Nutshell and to use it to grow their businesses. And we hope we're doing our very best to help you with that. And thanks for joining us today. What other kind of questions do we have, Will?
So I know the answer to this question currently, Andy, and I somewhat answered in the chat already, but from Michelle, are we intending to implement subscription recurring pricing into sales forecasting? So this way the forecasted sales can be spread over multiple months rather than all going into 1 month for cash flow purposes.
That's a good question. It is probably in our list of top 10 requests. We don't have a plan for that in Q1. And of course, as a subscription business ourselves, this is something that we think a lot about. Speaking to how we do it, we use a product called Recurly to manage our subscriptions, and we use a product called ChartMogul to understand the health of those subscriptions. But in terms of being able to sort of recognize that revenue or to incorporate those sales over a period of time, it's not possible in Nutshell today. And really what we want to get right there is if you close a deal in January for an entire year, and maybe that's going to be a monthly subscription, what we want to make sure that you can do is if, say, that subscription were to leave in June, you're going to need to be able to tell Nutshell that what was going to be a year's worth of revenue spread over 12 months is now only 6 months, to recognize that churn. And so when we build a feature like that, we want to build it in a way that minimizes the need for data entry. And so far, we haven't found the perfect way to crack the code on how we report on recurring revenue that doesn't put a bunch of additional work back into our customers' hands. So we're constantly exploring that one. And if whoever asked that question wants to send me a note on how you see it working for you, we'd love to explore that, because it is something we hear frequently and encounter ourselves.
Cool. Thanks, Andy. I have two kind of questions that are the same from Carolyn and Rachel, but basically asking if there's ever going to be a date range selector for the marketing dashboard. Currently, I think we are able just to look at the last 30 days.
That's right. Yep. And that was kind of just an early scope that we sort of locked in on. But yeah, last 30 days doesn't tell you a lot when it's January 24th and you want to know the sort of month to date numbers. So I expect that's something that will continue to develop and evolve. As Will said, we had a lot of marketing capabilities and no dashboard up until 2 months ago. We'll be making that better in the months to come.
Cameron has a question about quotes. Could you customize these quotes with your own logo and customizable SKUs? And then I'm going to add a second question that was directly afterwards. Mark, how do quotes access accounting database SKUs?
Yeah, good questions. And when we launch quotes, we're going to do our best to get it right for maybe 70 or 80% of use cases, and we're not going to be able to work for all of those. But in short, quotes will work on the same product database that you already have in Nutshell for your leads. And the product manager in Nutshell does support the notion of SKUs. We don't have a built-in product importer in Nutshell at the moment, although that's something that our support team will occasionally be able to help out with. If you have a spreadsheet of 600 products that you need to add to Nutshell, we can help you get those into Nutshell. But it will use the product databases that are already inside of Nutshell. Or if you don't, if you have 20,000 products and you don't want those in there, you'll be able to just craft the quote and sort of free form add products and SKUs that don't necessarily live in the database. And I talked too long and I forgot, the logo and customization. Yes, you'll be able to set logos and customize, the sort of basic sender information and your company's address and that sort of thing, include some maybe terms and conditions at the bottom, and give you some basic sort of layout controls in there.
Cool. This is a question that was somewhat related to when we were talking about email marketing, and I think I can answer part of it, but I might toss it over to you for the second part. For email marketing, is there a way to send a message based on when they are most likely to open it based upon past emails? So I know Nutshell has the availability to send during business hours and also to avoid sending on weekends, and then a delay. So if you want to send every 2 days, you send the first one on Monday, the second one gets sent on Wednesday, and then Friday. But is there an actual time that we can say, hey, send this at 10 a.m.?
Yeah, I think it's a great question and a great request. And some of our competition does have sort of some more advanced controls there where you might say, send this entire message over the course of Monday, but to the folks who are in an Eastern time zone, send it at their 9 a.m. And to the folks on the West Coast time zone, send it at their 9 a.m. So we don't support that sort of customization within a campaign. As Will described, you can schedule the overall campaign for the best open time. But as you've seen, we've gone from 0 to 100 on the email marketing front in the last 2 years. And I think that kind of open rate optimization is something we'll continue to explore. And, I saw some questions in the chat about how we track opens and how we track clicks. We're in a little bit of a, an arms race with various email clients out there, and rightfully so, consumers want privacy controls on their email clients, and so we do our best to track open rate. We have a number of different sort of heuristics on trying to avoid bot opens and avoid security system opens, but it's not perfect. And if you look on our website, we've got a little blog post that talks about how the open rate is something of a vanity metric. It might be even something of a dying art, because ultimately consumers may opt into tools that make that really difficult to track. And that's why we think of things like our link engagement report, actually getting clicks and actions out of a message, as being the real thing that matters here. And just to toss some quick marketing advice, because I know Will would say it as well, one of the best things you can do in an email marketing campaign is to actually sort of structure it around the notion of a click. So maybe instead of sending a 6-page email that includes everything about your next sale or everything about your company, you might send a shorter snippet that has a call to action to read more, because you can always track the click of an email campaign. You won't always be able to track the open. So if you design your messages in a way that they are focused on a click, you will be able to get that engagement measurement better.
Awesome. Andy, before I give you some more questions, I just want to say someone did say nice sweater. So you got one compliment today. And there's someone else here that loves Nutshell, very pleased with the product. And then someone else that's very surprised that we're able to take care of this all in Q1. So just some good compliments before I get to the next questions, and maybe a hot seat one or two. One thing that I think just missed Q1, it might be in Q2 or Q3, or I might be speaking ahead, but from James, being on the road a lot, is the app going to be developed at all this year?
Yes, it is.
Mobile app, I should say.
Mobile app. Yep. Yes, it is. And I mentioned we kind of have 3 teams working in parallel right now. We've already set the goal of being up to 4 by the end of the year, with the idea that one of those teams is sort of fully owning the mobile apps and integrations and our email extensions. Sometimes when you've got a roadmap this aggressive and we're putting all of these things out there, you build it on the web app and you don't get to it in the mobile experience. And that's something we've occasionally fallen prey to, and we'd like to be able to do better on. So we're adding to our team to be able to do that. And I will say that with our single sign-on ambitions, right, we're going to make Nutshell sign-in better. Of course, you have to sign in on your mobile app, so those will be updated for that improved sign-in experience at a starting point. And as we think about new reports and maybe new uses of AI capture to be able to record a conversation, mobile apps are going to be a part of that. And I'll also mention, speaking of mobile, with Nutshell Chat, we've noticed that 40% of chat conversations so far that our customers have been on mobile websites. So someone comes to your website, I think they're more likely to ask you a question through a chat than they are to fill out a contact form, even more so when they're on their phone. And so chat might be even more important for you as a business when you have people coming to your website on a small screen.
I see two very quick questions that I can answer here. One from Stacy: what's the best way to contact your support team? In the new user interface, in the very top right-hand corner, there's a question mark. That'll open our support team live chat. That's probably the best way to get to us when we're open during business hours. If we are closed or it's not during business hours, support@nutshell.com is our email. It is a tad slower than our support chat, but it will end up in our support team's inbox. And then Felicia, new to Nutshell, how do I find best practice webinars? You can head to our website. In our drop-down menu under About Us, there's a webinar drop-down, and you can register for the Nutshell best practices there. Or when you get this PDF in your email, there will be a link that takes you directly to the form where you can register. And that is a recurring webinar. So once you sign up for it, you will get the email reminders each and every month until you no longer want to attend. You can just unsubscribe from those emails as well. We will try not to have our feelings hurt when you do unsubscribe from those best practice webinar, but feel free to attend them every single month and ask the questions you need to of our support team.
Will, I'll step in. I'll answer a quick question that I saw here, which is Carolyn's request about some more automation around email marketing. And that's something, it didn't make the Q1 kind of cut here, but we definitely intend to, in this next year, continue to advance Nutshell's email marketing capabilities just from email marketing to full email automation. And exactly what Carolyn described here is, send a message. If someone clicks it, take one series of actions. If they don't click it, take another series of actions. Some of the competition out there sort of calls that a customer journey builder. We want to get that right. We want to give you tools that don't require you to be a computer scientist to create a whole set of workflows here. But we want to put you in the driver's seat so that you can have those kinds of automations where drip sequences might all be working toward a goal. And if you don't meet that goal, different types of messages will be happening there. And I also wanted to say, I kind of neglected to mention this earlier, our product team has grown quite a bit this year. We went from 1.5 to 3 teams, but our support team has grown as well. We added, my math is right, at least 4 new team members on the support side of things. I love when I see some of our team members' names in the chat here getting called out, because we've got a great crew here. We've gotten even faster at responding, and the experience of interacting with our team is really top notch. And I'm glad to hear that backed up here in the chat.
Question from Michael: how does billing work for the SMS program per phone? It'll be, so we have our SMS inside the engagement suite, and then our SMS campaigns inside the marketing suite, which is not yet available. It will be available probably within the next 2 weeks, I'd say, Andy, maybe even sooner. But currently for the engagement suite for SMS, or the one-to-one SMS, your whole business will get access to one phone number. And we actually do have a webinar for this on our website as well. Same if you go to our menu, to the drop downs under About Us, and to demos and webinars, you can find the pre-recorded webinar there where we talk a little bit more in depth about that. But it's $16 per user, and that comes with 150 messages per user that you have there. And if you require more messages for your business, so I give the example for simple math. If you have 10 users using the engagement suite, that is 1,500 messages. That can be used by anybody inside of your team. So if one person wants to use all 1,500 of those messages, that's the way that can work. If you need more messages for your team, just let us know. We can add more messages there. It does cost more to add more messages, more text message sends, but you can add more messages to your plan for that. And I don't know if you saw any other questions here, Andy, that you want to make sure we get to before we wrap up.
Nothing that jumped out at me. I know we didn't get to everything here, and a lot of great requests for things that definitely align with how we're thinking about this. And appreciate everyone's ideas on this. I've just got done bragging about our support team, but they're great at passing those along to the rest of us to make sure that the voice of our customer is heard here. And so I think we got through the heart of it here, Will.
Awesome. And again, like we said, if you do decide to switch over to the new user interface, I know Andy has forced all of Nutshell to get used to it already. I'm loving it. Feel free to send us feedback at growth@nutshell.com. That's an email that both Andy and I do get. We definitely want that feedback so we can make sure that we knock out any bugs or anything else before we roll this out to all of our customers, or all of our customers are opted into it. Cool. Well, with that, thank you everybody for joining. Sorry we might not have gotten to all of the questions today, but it was an exciting 2024. Like Andy said, we started with 7 team members on our product team, and now we're up to 17. So we're looking forward to knocking out a whole bunch more, not just in Q1 or in our spring roadmap, but throughout 2025. So stay tuned for future webinars that will dive deeper into specific product features that we release. And then also hopefully on a quarterly basis, we'll be able to talk about the next quarter's roadmap, or maybe the next half of the year's roadmap as we move throughout the year. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining. And last but not least, happy nutshelling.
Happy nutshelling. Thanks, everybody.